Hello and welcome to the weekly gaming news show. I'm your host Sony, and this week we're going to be covering cloud gaming making a comeback in 2018, Sea of Thieves server issues. But first, let's cover PUBG's brand new map. Now, one of the biggest criticisms I've always had with PUBG releasing in the state that it has is the fact that it only has 2 maps, and in general the content is very limited. There's not much to do besides the whole Battle Royale function, and even its competitor, Fortnite, is even mixing things up with 50v50 and also a different type of events and things happening during seasons. But even Fortnite has only 1 map, but that game has more variety. But PUBG has 2 maps, but no real gameplay variety. Well, to remedy this, they thought, let's add another map, and honestly, this map looks a lot more interesting than their previous 2. Now, I've not been able to gather the name of this map as of yet, but for one I know, it's marginally smaller than the other 2 maps. As the other 2 maps were 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers, this map is only going to be 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers. That's a significant decrease, and especially the fact that this map actually takes place on 3 different islands closely connected via bridges. So it's going to be interesting to see where this map actually takes us, or how interesting games might be within this map. I also hope that because of adding this new map, they're going to also increase the map rotation instead of it being 50-50, or for some people feeling like 80 for the original map, 20 for the desert map. Hopefully there's more variety in the maps that people play. And in terms of looks, it kind of reminds me of Hawaii, in the sense of there's palm trees, it's very tropical, and there's a lot of it's just a lot of green land around, especially towards the center of the islands. Because there are 3 different islands connected by bridges, it looks like they're going to try to put a bit more emphasis on actually trying to traverse through the center of the map using boats. They do have boats in that game. They have a rib boat and a jet ski. And honestly, the biggest lacking thing for me in this game is just the lack of, well, game mode variety. I wish that there was some form of like 50v50 or 20v20v 20v20. I don't know if Fortnite has done that, but PUBG I think would definitely benefit because it would be very interesting to see how that would play out. And also, don't just stick with one formula. You have an entire game to experiment with. Go wild. Next up, we've got Sea of Thieves server issues. Now, I've been anticipating this game for a long while, and I'm sad to say, or to see, that the servers have actually been taking a huge hit, especially on launch. Very few people were able to actually play on launch, and it was very disappointing for a lot of people. And those who could play either weren't getting their loot or rewards from doing the quests, and people who were playing weren't getting their rewards from the quests that they were doing or even getting achievements. And all in all, the launch was really bad. So to quickly remedy this situation, they decided to pull things like loot, rewards, achievements, try to make sure that the servers were stable enough for the first few 100,000 could play and make it a fun experience. Now, they are releasing a patch later this week, or at least they have released a patch, to combat all of the server issues. Most of it's client side and how it interacts with the server, and everything that has been held back from the server, things like your rewards, your achievements, things like that, they do have that information, and when they're ready to push it out, they will push it out all at once, so everybody does get their achievements, rewards, and everything. And let me just say, I'm incredibly proud of Rare for doing something like this, actually being transparent with the community for what they're doing. I think the only other game, or 2 games, that I've seen ever do this with a state of the game type content to tell you what's going on, what updates we're pushing out, and being transparent with the players are The Division and Destiny. So far, those are the only 2 games that I've seen do something like this. It's good to see that game devs are trying to be transparent as possible when actually making their games and updating them. Last but definitely not least, cloud gaming in 2018. Is it viable, or is it just a bust? Now, for those who have never even heard of the term cloud gaming, it's not like cloud sharing. It's not like you put a game on the cloud and then you play it from there. It's a little more complicated than that, actually. Cloud gaming is essentially streaming your games through another system from abroad. Let's say I have a laptop, it can't play any games. over 10 miles away, I have a PC that can play whatever game I want. What Nvidia in the past have done has allowed it so I can link both machines and stream me playing the games on my PC, but through my laptop. So the PC is still running those games and handling all the performance, but my laptop is where it's actually being transmitted through. Now the biggest issue with this is connection, latency, and also having access to the internet. Let's say you have great access to internet and your connection isn't exactly the most stable. This is going to cause huge latency. You're going to try to press W to move in a video game, and a few seconds later you will see the character move, and that's not what you want. You want that action to be instant. Even OnLive, a company that directly tried to compete with Steam, tried to do a service like this in the past, but they slightly faltered and ended up going bankrupt actually, because they couldn't sustain their servers, their service, and eventually just kind of gave up and packed their bags. But a new company by the name of Shadow have taken on this monument of a task and decided they're actually going to build actual full-sized servers, server spec PCs, but consumer grade graphics and storage and RAM and everything, with the intent to actually stream your video games through their servers that you can rent out. And right now you can rent it out for about $30. I don't know how much that'll be for US pounds. From what I can see, it looks very promising. You get a GTX 1080, an 8-thread Xeon clocked at around 2.1 GHz, 12 GB of RAM, and 256 GB of storage. Now on paper, this sounds all good. This sounds amazing actually. But what about connectivity? What about the latency? The two biggest issues of streaming games through other machines. Now, you do get another machine where it connects up to your, let's say, laptop or even TV, where it has a headphone jack, a bunch of USBs, an Ethernet, and a power cable. And from there, they say you get the fastest connection to their servers through this machine. I don't know how true this is going to be, since there aren't exactly any commercial testers right now, but from what they're promising, it's very ambitious. It's it's essentially a hit or miss. If they can't get this right the first time, people are not going to give them another chance, or not enough people, for a matter of fact, because they not only have to make the profit back on running their servers and all the hardware, they also have to make a profit to keep the company afloat as well, pay the people to keep the company running. But if they are able to do this, it'll be amazing. It'll be a game changer completely. No pun intended. Anyway, that's been it for this week's gaming news show. Leave a comment down below. Links for everything we covered this week in the description below. Subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you in the next one.